Hello everybody, welcome to the MudRoom, our weekly Uncommon Sense parenting class. How are you today? Where did September go? I hope that for those of you who have kids in school, this month hasn't been too painful. For those of you who switched care situations like daycare or preschool, I hope that transition went smoothly. We've been dealing with all forms of it in parentability, and I know that this month can be so stressful. So I'm looking forward to getting rid of it and moving on to Thanksgiving and Halloween. Today, I want to talk about homework. If your kids started school in August, you're probably already knee-deep in this. If your kids started in September, like mine, this is probably just starting to become an issue, but it's come up multiple times in Parentability and the Parenting Posse recently. I talked about it on Instagram in late August, and then I realized that I don't actually have an episode on homework. So, we're going to remedy that today and talk about homework for preschool and elementary school kids. Before we get into it, however, allow me to introduce myself for anyone who's new around here. Hi, my name is Allana Robinson, and I'm a parenting coach for parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners. I help you understand why your children are misbehaving and how to fix it without stickers, counting to 3, or losing your shit. I'm your host here on the MudRoom. I'm also the host of the Parenting Posse Facebook group, and I'm the creator of the Parentability program, where I walk you through raising well-behaved kids who listen. So if you haven't yet, while you're here, it would do me a huge favor if you would like and subscribe so that you never miss another class, and either comment or leave a review depending on how you're accessing this class. Okay, so homework in preschool, meaning either actual preschool or kindergarten, and the elementary grades. First, let's put this in context. A 2004 study from the University of Michigan found that homework time for elementary age students had risen 51% from 1981, and a University of Maryland study put it at 145% over a similar period. That's as of 2004, which at the time of recording this is almost 20 years ago. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any more recent numbers, but that is astronomical. It also means that most of the people who are currently the best and the brightest were not subject to these insane homework standards. And this is mind-blowing considering that peer-reviewed research very strongly shows that elementary homework does not actually benefit students. It does not result in better academic outcomes. Harris Cooper, who is a neuroscientist and psychologist from Duke University, he did a compilation of over 120 studies on homework in 1989, and then he revisited it in 2006. And the result of compiling all of that research was that time spent on homework had zero correlation to elementary school students' academic achievement. And in fact, it's been shown to hurt kids' attitudes towards school and learning. It's not until grade 7 that there are moderate advantages to doing homework, and those advantages are mainly in forming habits, not academically. It gets middle schoolers in the habit of carving out time for studying and developing systems and keeping track of their assignments. Even in high school, more than 2 hours of homework isn't beneficial. So if there's no evidence that homework has any academic benefits for young kids, and in fact hurts their love of learning and participation in school, which is incredibly dangerous given that at the end of elementary school, kids still have about 6 years of school left ahead of them at least. Why are we doing this? I could rant for hours about the contempt that modern society holds for rest and relaxation and joy and play. I'm sure you've heard it all before in various episodes, so I'll spare you. But basically it boils down to, we genuinely believe as a society that the harder you work, the bigger the benefit, even though the research and evidence say that correlation does not exist. So what should you do if your child comes home with a homework packet? First, you're going to want to email or message your child's teacher. Thank her or him for the homework packet, and then state that given the research that homework does not have an academic benefit to elementary students, you're opting your child out of homework. They're welcome to send the homework packet home if they wish, and if your child demonstrates a desire to do it, you'll of course allow them to and send whatever gets done back, but this is not going to be a regular part of your nightly routine. Most teachers who have been educated in the last decade or so already know this. But they're stuck in very outdated education systems that demand homework be made available, so they have to send it home. And once we push back, they can safely blame us if their administration gets on their back. There's also generally a very vocal minority of parents who have not read the research and are determined that drilling their child on academics is the only route to success, and are actually demanding more homework than the teacher is providing, which I just find odd. Like, there are so many academic programs out there for children that if you really want your kids doing 2 to 3 hours of homework a night, there are so many resources available to make that happen. But the point is that, at least in my experience, the idea of opting your child out of homework is a lot scarier than actually doing it. Over the last 5 years, my clients have gone from getting epic amounts of pushback to almost none. I'd say this year, about 90% of my clients aren't getting any at all, which is fantastic. We're making progress. Those of you who are in that 10% who do get pushback, you're going to have to gather your evidence. Something that I don't get to say very often is, if you're in the States, you're actually lucky because free and appropriate education is enshrined in your federal education law, which means the onus is on the school to prove that what they're doing is appropriate. The onus is not on you to prove to them that what they're doing is inappropriate. Most schools are well aware of the research showing no correlation between academic achievement and homework. So generally, once you provide your evidence, they back off. We have a resource list and parentability of peer-reviewed research. Can't get my mouth around that one today. Peer-reviewed research, so that when this comes up for my clients, they don't have to go poking around the dark corners of the internet looking for that evidence. Heather Shoemaker has an excellent reference list in her book, It's Okay to Go Up the Slide. Alfie Kahn has some good references in his books too. Google Scholar is your friend. If your child is in a private school, you should have even more leverage because you're literally paying for a service and it is your discretion whether or not to take full advantage of that service. Here in Canada, elementary homework is becoming rarer and rarer. I haven't heard of kids who are in general education receiving homework in elementary school recently. It seems to be relegated to kids in programs like the International Baccalaureate Program or Codico. What should our kids be doing other than homework then? Playing! Running around outside, building snow forts, playing sports, doing art, listening to music, extracurricular activities, spending time with their family members and friends, reading. The only kind of homework that shows any benefit at all for this age group is reading, whether that's being read to or independent reading. This expands their horizons by exposing them to new ideas and perspective. It exposes them to a much higher number of words in a day, which expands their vocabulary. It promotes bonding with those reading to them or being read to, and cements early literacy skills. When I speak to new clients who are screwing up the courage to opt their child out of homework, they often say that the first thing to go in an evening is reading time because homework is taking too long. So if you're worried about your child's academic performance, swap your priorities. Spend that hour reading instead. So I hope that this has given you something to chew on, and I really, really encourage you to take a deep breath and send that email if it's warranted. Generally, as I said, in my experience at least, once one family stands up and says, no, we're not doing this, more families follow suit, and before you know it, homework is gone for the classroom as a whole. Much to the relief of the teacher, usually. So while it might be scary to draw that line in the sand, you may be the one who is able to spur a culture change for your child's entire school. If you need more encouragement or support, make sure you come and join us in the Parenting Posse, where we have over 10K parents who are ready to support you, and the link is in the description. Have a great day, and I'll see you next week for another Uncommon Sense parenting class. Bye!